wherein ye greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness through manifold temptations, that the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Jesus Christ.
Good feel. I don't bang, but I rap for the 12 stones. I don't bang, but I rap for the 12 stones. Yeah. I don't bang, but I rap for the 12 stones.
You already know.
Calm. What's the deal, y'all? Hope y'all having a good day, good night, whatever time y'all watching this. First and foremost, I want to give all praise to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. I want to give a special shout out to BOW, the main channel. Like, share, and subscribe. I want to give another shout out to Holy Vessel of War, Brother Camp. Like, share, and subscribe. And also want to give a shout out to my channel, Israel Forged in Fire. So, to get started with this lesson, I've been brewing on this for a minute. I had it written down a couple months ago. Just never got around to it. It's about who our enemies are. And the identifier that the Lord put in the scriptures to show us who they are in real life, you know, in today's time as well, you know, and it's very important for us to know who our enemies are and our adversaries are, so we won't walk around oblivious and just be ignorant. So we're going to start it off with the classic Psalms 83, and we're going to start from 1, and it reads, "Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones." So the people have come together and taken crafty counsel. So, and crafty counsel is something on the low. You feel me? And they're trying to do something on a very magnitude scale. We're going to read what they're trying to do. And they did it. The Lord let it happen, but they did it. But a lot of us don't even think about that. And verse 4, "They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance." Did they do that? I've been in the word, for 3 years now. Before the Lord revealed this beautiful secret to me, I thought I was a black man. I thought I was Native American. You know, I thought I was a color. I thought I was two land masses that are separated by an ocean. That's what I thought I was. You know, Israel never came into my mind. Every time I heard Israel or a Jew, I thought about the GMOs. Always. I never be like, that could be me. Never thought about it. And I know a lot of people did neither. You know, because these nations came together, had a crafty counsel, and they conspired against us, and they lifted up the head. And they succeeded. They succeeded. You know, it is what it is. They succeeded. Verse 5. "For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee." So they all came together, all the nations that are going to be said, and they all came under one agenda to remove the name of Israel from remembrance and to go against God. Hey, we could look around. People are doing that at the masses, unknowingly as well. People are doing it knowingly, but a lot of people are doing it unknowingly as well. Excuse me. Verse 6, "The tabernacles of Edom." So we know off of prophecy, off of books in the scriptures, and even just the diabolical nature of this man, we know Edom, is the white man, the Caucasian, you know, the French, the European, the German, the Russian, you know, these people that they hide under different monikers. This is Esau. This is Edom. This is the first nation that the Lord listed that is confederate against the Most High and is confederate against the children of Israel, and it's the nation that put the Israelites' name out of remembrance. He's number one. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites. The Ishmaelites are the Arabs. You know, they're on the east side of the world. You know, they handle their business, but they had a part in the slave trade. You know, they had a part of rounding us up. They hate us as well. You know, I can only imagine. Online battling with Ishmaelites. Oh, we have the covenants, we have the blessing. Abraham blessed us. Now you're not doing your reading, son. You feel me? He blessed Isaac. He blessed Ishmael as well, but he gave Isaac the covenant of the Most High God, because the Most High God wanted Isaac to have it. So the next one is Moab. Moab is the Chinese. Chinese oppress our brothers, our sisters. They in our neighborhoods, cooking us God know what, you know, doing everybody's nails, oppressing us, this and that, talking shit, having their kids look down upon us. All these nations, they all come together and they pick little pockets. Or I'm gonna control their food. I'm gonna control their style. I'm gonna control their liquor and their tobacco access. You know, I'm gonna control their education. All these races, all these groups of people, they collaborated together and spread the wealth of destruction against us. And after Moab is the Hagarenes. I was looking up the Hagarenes. It's another sect of Arabs. So it goes back into Ishmael. You know, it might have, you know, the Indians. You know, not the Indians with little red dots. You know, it might have just a group of, it's just a different section. And then next we have Gabal. Gabal were the Phoenicians, but the Phoenicians were invaded by the Persians and the Greeks. So it's a mix up of different people, but back in the time of antiquity, they were the Phoenicians, the ancient Phoenicians, but through time, people get conquered, people become weak, and the Persians and the Greeks conquered the Phoenicians and more than likely took over their name, because that's what they do. After Gabal is Ammon. Ammon is the Japanese. You know, the Japanese are just like the Chinese. I feel like they're just less docile, and honestly, it's kind of hard to tell them apart. You know, it is what it is. I see one, I think of them all. You know, keep it a stack. You know, and the crazy thing is, Japan's in bed with America after they dropped 2 bombs on them. 2. And they still want to be friends with the person that destroyed generations after generations after generations of people. Madness to me. But I don't get it. And after Ammon is Amalek. We already know who that is. Small hats. GMOs. You know, we're not even going to get too much into it. Just know. You know. After the Amalek is the Philistines. The Philistines are non-Shemitic people. So we know that these are Hamites. We know that the children of Israel are spread throughout the whole world. But for the main part, Ham inhabitates Africa. It's I would say pretty much 85%, maybe 80% of Africa is all Ham. So these people have consented against the children of Israel and against God. So Hamites, non-Shemitic people. And then after the Philistines, also Tyre. Tyre is another group of Hamites, non-Shemitic people. Once again. And verse 8, Ashur also was joined with them. They have hoping the children of Lot, Salah. And Ashur are the Assyrians. The ancient Assyrians lived north of Israel back before, actually, I want to say all the way up until Southern Kingdom was exiled out. And I believe the Assyrians are just another race of probably Indians, probably Arabs. So yeah, now that we have that, now that we know who they are, and the Lord showed us who they are through the scriptures, Now we're gonna get some precepts for it to show you who our enemies are and what we're supposed to do with them. So this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10. It reads, "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness." The Lord said, never trust your enemy, no matter what. Just like how iron make rust, no matter what, wind, water, it's going to get on some metal, it's going to rust. Just like our enemy's wickedness. So never trust him. It's always going to happen. He's always going to rear up the head and bite you. Verse 11, "Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped the looking glass. And thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away." The Lord said, even though he humbles himself, he comes speaking peaceable words. Don't trust him, because just as a window gets fogged up, you wipe it away, the rust is still there. His wickedness is still there. His untrustworthiness is still there. The Lord said, don't trust him. I'm going to rock with the Lord on that. So our next one is Joel 3. Get a little history in. You know, hopefully y'all having a good day, good night. You want that to go black. Get Joel after Hosea. All right, so this is Joel chapter 3, verse 1. "For behold, in those days, in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem." The Lord, when he says, I shall bring again the captivity, meaning he's going to bring us out of captivity. "I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, the valley of judgment, and will plead with them, Salakia, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land." All the nations that the Lord is gathering is all the nations, of course, but he's going to single out certain people that had the main affliction on us and parted his land. Verse 3, "And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink." Let's break that down. They have cast lots for my people. They are selling the Lord's people on auction blocks. Think about that. And what they sell them for. "Have given a boy for an harlot." A harlot is a H-O. You know, a sex worker, the P word. You know, just a person of sexual favors. They sold the children of Israel, the boys, for that. How do you think that made the Lord feel? "And sold a girl for wine." The daughters of Zion were exchanged for a bottle of Stella Rosa. Just to put it in context for y'all. The daughters of Zion were sold for a bottle of Stella Rosa. And the boys were treated like the sisters on fig. "That they might drink. Yeah. And what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, Hamites, and all the coast of Palestine?" Palestine is where Israel resides. It's that whole coast from Assyria, probably all the way down to Egypt and further east. "Will you render me my recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head?" The Lord saying, can I get my get back? Can I get my get back? Can I get my lick back? And if you do, let me get my lick back. I'll do it to you quick. Verse 5, "Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried it into your temples, my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their borders." The children of Israel were gathered by Tyre, Zidon, the Palestinians, and were sold to the Grecians. Look it up in history. It's a real thing. This is prophecy right here. And it happened. This happened. But people overlook it. People think the Bible is just, it's a mumbo jumbo book. But this happened. This was prophesied before. And the Lord hasn't gathered us yet. But we were sold. Think about that. It's not fulfilled yet. So let's go to Amos chapter 1, verse 6. Actually, let's go to verse 9. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Tyrus, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they delivered up the whole captivity to Edom, and remembered not the brotherly covenant. But I will send a fire on the wall of Tyrus, which shall devour the palaces thereof. So Tyrus is Tyre, another Hamite nation. The Lord said they delivered the whole captivity to Edom. A portion of Hamites delivered the whole captivity, the children of Israel, to the Edomites, the white man. The Lord said, I will not turn away my anger. I will not do it. Verse 11. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. That's going on today, because the Lord is not a lie. His anger tear perpetually. Let's look it up. I'm feeling a little slow right now. Perpetually, in a way that never ends or changes, constantly. His anger was a constant anger. That's what the Lord said Edom was against the children of Israel. To this day. To this day. Hit my Deontay water real quick. You feel me? On some respectful shit. But what's next? All right, boom. We rolling. This is showing you that our enemies are on our heels to this day. They're confederate against us. We revealed who they are through the Spirit of the Most High. He told us not to trust them. And I pray my brothers and sisters is not letting their heart get hardened and sticking close with the Lord with that, because the Lord is speaking facts. These people do not love us. They might smile and get all hitty and giddy in our face, but deep down in their heart, it's nothing but war. It's nothing but war. War and deceit. So, now we're going to go to Exodus chapter 21, verse 16. He that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. Now, Turner read this. Started a revolt. A scripture, this one, and I believe another one in Psalms. I'm going to read it again. He that stealeth the man, the Native Americans were stolen. Hispanic, all of Southern Kingdom, all of Northern Kingdom were stolen by everybody. The Silk Road slave trade, the Sub-Saharan slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade, And then even when the Native Americans were in Arsareth, also known as Americas, Columbus and them Spaniards, they came over here and they grabbed them and they took them back to Europe. And we got documents on that too. That goes over a lot of people's head, but they were the first ones on boats. All the children of Israel have been stolen, and we're still in our enemy's hand. So let's read the judgment for that. Exodus chapter 21, verse 16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. we know the arrogancy and the pride of the white man. He'll never let the children of Israel go because that's his wealth. That's his workforce. That's his brains. That's his army. He'd never do it because he knows as long as I have the children of Israel, I have the world. So guess what? He shall surely be put to death. Thus saith the Lord. Because we know Esau's arrogancy and the rest of the world's arrogancy will not let the children of Israel go. That's for a fact. Now, we go into Deuteronomy chapter 28, and we're going to read verse 31. Thy ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Thine ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto thy enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them. When I first read this, I instantly thought of my forefathers, my 10 tribe brothers. When they landed in America, they was millions on millions of 10 tribe and their life supply, the buffaloes. We're gonna read some quotes, which still bothers me to this day. And we actually let's get the devil who said it. So the devil who said it was Colonel Richard I. Dodge in 1867 at Fort McPherson, Nebraska, said to a group of British hunters, "Kill every buffalo you can. Every buffalo dead as an Indian gone." Kill every buffalo you can. Every buffalo dead as an Indian gone. They knew that was our life source. They knew that that's what kept our community thriving. They knew that. You know why they knew that? Because 10 tribe trusted their enemy. When they got there, they should have killed every single paleface, but they didn't. They showed them how to live. They showed them how to grow crops. They showed them how to survive the winter. That's where they fucked up. Excuse my language. They trusted in their enemy. They didn't trust in the Lord. But hey, this prophecy had to come to pass. So I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read this article. It's the ending of the quote of the colonel. Every dead buffalo is an Indian gone. It says, once upon a time, before European whites ever set foot on the North American continent, 75 to 100 million buffalo roamed the land from sea to sea. 75 to 100 million. Buffalo roamed the land from sea to sea. To give you an idea of their abundance, that was about 1.5 to 2 million buffalo per state. That's mad. They were thriving. Nearly all Native American tribes on the continent relied on buffalo for meat and for much of their day-to-day living. Buffalo were abundant, and one buffalo could provide up to 400 pounds of meat. Archaeologists now believe that somewhere between 18 to 100 million Native Americans populated the North American continent before the white juggernaut invaded, and European disease and genocide windowed their numbers. By 1800s, the Native American population had plummeted to about 600,000. 18 to 100 million to 600,000. That's your enemy. Like that. $100 million to 600,000. And that's just the Native Americans. Man. Man, I'm not even gonna read that one. So that was the Native Americans' body count and how they dwindled so fast. Now we're going to get into the Buffalo timeline, how their numbers decreased, and of course going into the prophecy, Deuteronomy 28 and 31. So in the 1500s, an estimated 30 to 60 million bison roam North America, mostly on the Great Plains. By 1830, mass destruction of the bison began. By 1860, construction of the railroad accelerates human settlement and killing of bison. By 1870, an estimate 2 million are killed on the plains in 1 year. And once again, like we read, the buffalo needed this. It was an essential thing to their day-to-day life. The 10 tribes, excuse me. And when I say 10 tribe, we know that the Hispanics, they were mingled in Americas too. They weren't just subjugated in South America in a little part of Mexico. They were intermingled. And they suffer from this as well. In the 1870s, an estimate 2 million are killed on the Southern Plains in 1 year. 1872 to 1874, an average of 5,000 bison were killed every day of these 3 years. That's 5.4 million bison killed in 3 years. Y'all saw that infamous big pile of bison skulls? There you go. Hunting for sport. What's Esau? A cunning hunter. Hunting for sport, not to keep your family alive. To kill every Indian. To kill every 10 tribe. To take their land, to subjugate them. Madness. Madness. By 1884, the bison population reached its lowest point. Around 325 wild bison are left in the United States, including 24 in Yellowstone. From 60 million to 325. In 2017, today there are 500,000 bison in the U.S., including 5,000 in Yellowstone. Whoop-de-doo. 60 million to 325, and then it goes up to 500,000. After you've taken everything, after you subjugated my people to reservations, after you took their land, after you did everything, whoop-de-doo, 500,000. But there was 60 million roaming this in the Great Plains alone. We know the other article said over 100. Over 100. Salakia, let's go back to that. Yeah, 100 million from sea to sea. Madness. Madness. I'm not even going to get into that. Deuteronomy 28 and 41. Thou shalt begat sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. And I want to pair this with 32. Deuteronomy 28 and 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand. The Lord said you're going to have children, and they're going to be stripped from you. They're going to be taken from you, and there ain't nothing you could do about it. We know for sure, 150,000% that happened to the Southern Kingdom. We know for sure. The transatlantic slave trade, the plantations, the cotton field, everything. That's documented in history. But people sweep the Northern Kingdom's atrocities under the rug like they didn't go on slave ships first. Like millions upon millions upon millions of them weren't killed and slaughtered and transported. Let's read this article. It's from Brown University. It reads, while natives have been forced, Salakia, let's read up a little bit more. Native American slavery is a piece of history of slavery that has been glossed over. I agree. Fisher said, between 1492 and 1880, between 2 and 5.5 million Native Americans were enslaved in the Americas, in addition to 12.5 African slaves. We know that was Southern Kingdom, but they're going to use that word. Excuse me. While natives had been forced into slavery and servitude as early as 1636, it was not until King Philip's War that natives were enslaved in a large number. Fisher wrote in the study, the 1675 to 1676 war-pitted Native American leader King Philip, also known as Metacom, and his allies against English colonial settlers. During the war, New England colonials routinely shipped Native Americans as slaves to Barbados, Bermuda, Jamaica, the Azores, Spain, and Tangier in North Africa, Fisher said. While Africans who were enslaved, we know those are Israelites, while Africans who were enslaved did not know they would be taken, Native Americans understood that they could be sent to the Caribbean plantations and face extremely harsh treatment far from their homes and communities. According to the study, fear of this fate spurred some Native Americans to pledge to fight to the death, while others surrounded, hoping to avoid being sent overseas. The studies have found. These families were separated. These people knew what was going to happen. But guess what? Prophecy had to be unfolded. That's just a little glimpse into history that shows you that first and foremost, who our enemies are, that prophecy must be unfolded. The Lord said, never trust them. The atrocities and that they did to our people, day in and day out, in over 400, 500 years ago, on both sides of the fence, Northern and Southern Kingdom. And still to this day. And like the article says, Native American slavery is a piece of history of slavery that has been glossed over. I agree with that. People say, oh, 10 Tribe didn't go into slavery. They didn't go on slave ships. Yes, they did. The Lord said the children of Israel are scattered to the four corners of the earth. Come on now. Do you not believe in the text? Do you not believe in the Lord? Man. One last precept. We're going to get out of here. Hopefully y'all enjoying the lesson. I know I've been a little ups and downs. My first time doing a sit-down lesson in a minute. But you know what? Thank you for rocking with me. All praise to the Heavenly Father. This is John chapter 15, verse 18. If the world hates you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. If ye were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. And that's a little precept for my brothers and sisters that are going through struggle right now, that are going through persecution at the job, at the house, you know, in the streets. The slack that we getting, the BS that we getting on social media, on these platforms, on these podcasts, people talking down on our name. The Lord is giving us some comforting words. I'm going to read it again. Verse 18. If the world hates you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. This is red letter. Take comfort in those words, family. Take comfort in the Lord. Take comfort in the Spirit that Yahweh Shai promised that the Father would send. And it's here. Read it one more time for y'all, and I'm going to be out. John chapter 15, verse 18. If the world hates you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. And on that, I'm going to give all praise to the Heavenly Father and his only begotten Son. Like, share, and subscribe, y'all. Y'all have a blessed night.